Welcome team, very excited. I've had to take this opportunity. When Thomas Yassmin rocks up to State of Origin camp, I have to say, camera guys, can we film a podcast? Because, mate, I hear you'll be going back to America very soon,
Yes.
and I know you've got appointments to get to today, so I want to keep this just like the NFL. It's just powerful. Everything's short, fast, powerful. So thanks so much for your time, mate.
Thank you for having
Thanks
me.
so much for your time. Hey, tell me a bit about your story, because I only looked it up when I heard you were coming down to meet the boys, and it's pretty fascinating. Like, you grew up in Sydney.
Yep.
You went to Scots College, and next thing you're playing in the Rose Bowl, like in front of 90,000 people scoring touchdowns. Like, NFL's not played much here in Australia. How did this happen? Can you take me through your journey?
Yeah, so played rugby pretty much all my life. I mean, I played a multitude of sports growing up, but rugby, basketball, and a bit of athletics was sort of what I focused on towards year 11 and 12. And pretty much after schoolboy rugby, coincidentally, I was reached out by a University of Hawaii member on the coaching staff over there. And they saw me play and sort of saw what I could do, and they offered me a scholarship off the spot. And sort of once they offered me, just, by coincidence and like word of mouth, started getting offers from other school, and Utah being one of them, sort of trying to take me on as like a project player. And been there past 4.5, almost 5 years now.
Wow, so actually you just said a little nugget of gold there that I tell all the listeners all the time is, if you're a trainer, a coach, a teacher, a parent out there, let your kids play multiple sports. So you played multiple sports, and I always am a massive fan of track and field.
Yes.
To have a good foundation. So what school did you go to? Because
Scots College.
Scots College, okay. Big on track and field, big on rugby, big on basketball, all of that stuff. Yeah?
Yeah.
What events, track and field?
I was, like, growing up, it was always like sort of high jump, long jump were my events. Then as I started sort of training a lot more, getting a lot stronger, I sort of moved more into the sprints, shorter distance, and by the end of it, I actually ended up doing, not really pairing well with each other, but the shot put, the 110 metre hurdles, and then the 100 metre.
Mate, you are a combination of, in our Origin team, we have Steve Crichton, basketball, the jumping, athleticism, Payne Huss, hurdling, shot putting. Mate, so you're a combination of all these guys, and am I right to say that when people recruit in football in America, they are looking at everything, aren't they? They're looking at your background, they're looking at even your schooling. Is this right?
They pretty much anything that can be measured or is immeasurable, they'll look at it and sort of see how it helps them or how it doesn't help them. So anything that's pretty much like some form of statistical measure, they'll take.
Yeah, and background checks.
Yeah, of course.
So lucky you went to Scots College. And
I had a decent background check. I passed that one. So.
Good one. And hey, you just said measurable. I also read you're very intelligent in your mathematics degree, and are you all about the analytical side?
I did applied math and quantitative analysis from undergrad, and now doing a master's in mathematics, statistics emphasis for my graduate degree currently. Okay,
so that level of detail, do you then take that into your football preparation as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's helped me a lot to study, just even like study habits from maths and sort of, drawing connections between things and patterns. That's helped a lot, and especially with my training, just like maths, you got to research and study a lot. So as a result, with my training, I've researched a lot, and I've tried. Obviously, you have training with your team and everything, but I mean, I love to train on my own, so I've tried just about every sort of, different program you can get online. So I think it's helped me put a lot into that and sort of, find my body and like what works for me and everything, and help me out on the football field.
Awesome. And then I guess the playbook's another thing, right? Because like you just said, research and patterns, and like straight away I'm thinking like, our players that we work with, the best players are proper students of their sport, proper students. Like I would blow you away. Well, actually, I probably wouldn't blow you away, but the listeners I would, how much study a Nathan Cleary does in his game.
Yeah.
So how much study is involved in American football?
Yeah, if you want to be a dominant player, I mean, look, if you want to get by, and some people, fortunate enough talent-wise, they can kind of get by not doing too much, but for the vast majority, 9 times out of 10, those top players, they're studying, you're watching film, you're watching, tendencies of, for instance, for me, the defensive line, linebackers, cornerbacks, and which way they like to favour, or if they're press coverage, zone coverage, what are their tendencies there. So Film's the winner of any game. I mean, at the end of the day, every team has a bunch of talented athletes, but whoever's more prepared, especially in a game like football where it's so just structured and statistically based and sort of thought out, essentially, is the biggest.
So how many hours would you spend studying film?
My coach would probably say not enough, but
Yeah.
I mean, definitely towards, once I started getting a much larger role last year, I really had to take that up, and I was in there at least a couple extra hours every day, a few hours a day on top of already the 2 hours we're doing with the team, and then already being out in the film, then already doing team film for another hour. So you're pretty much there all day. If you've got free time, you're pretty much watching film.
Wow. Hey, so you were there for a few years before you got a crack.
Yep.
So was there any hard times? Did you ever go through a time where I don't think I'm going to make this?
Yeah, definitely.
You did?
I mean, I was lucky pretty much from freshman year. I was able to get on special teams, which was cool for me, obviously not playing, like being able to get out there and just kick off return and all that. But at the end of the day, you want to play your position, and tight end for me and offense. So, to be able to get to that point, it took me a good 3.5 years, almost 4 years basically. And there was times where I felt like I was the most physically prepared, and I felt as though athletically, I was definitely one of the best out there. But then the mental side of things is what football is. It's 80% of it, and that was what really held me back. And not playing the sport from such a young age, there was definitely a lot of times I just didn't think I was going to be able to get to the level to play at Power 5 football, I guess they call it, Pac-12, SEC, all those schools. And even honestly, going into this last season, there was a time where I almost wanted to quit. Honestly, I'd been there 4 years, and I was training hard. I was doing everything I could, all this preparation, and just felt like I wasn't getting it, wasn't clicking. And due to unfortunate circumstances, I had an opportunity, and I was able to make the most of it. And luckily, obviously, I didn't walk out and quit. And I stuck through it, and thanks to great family and friends and support team around me. But there's perseverance and resilience was the two biggest things.
I love this because there's I'm always trying to say, think about the listeners. How can anything we chat, how can it help someone else? And you've just given a message there very similar. We did an episode with Ivan Cleary, coach of the Penrith Panthers, who nearly quit. He was that far off quitting, and just around the corner is 3 grand finals in a row, back-to-back premierships. It's amazing what's just on the other side.
Yeah.
So for you, what was on the other side? And also you gave a little bit of message there about surround yourself with good people. Mm-hmm. So that was a really important message there. But just on the other side for you was some pretty big games. Tell me, what is it like? Like, we've all watched college football and we see 90,000 people. What does that feel like, stepping out on that field in front of 90,000 and scoring a touchdown? The first real experience where it was a packed out stadium and I was able to score was the Pac-12 championship game. That was a Allegiant Stadium. I think it holds 70 something there. Yeah. And but it's an enclosed stadium, so it's loud. And thankfully we had probably majority Utah fans there as opposed to USC fans. So all screaming Utah fans. And I remember breaking off and getting to the end zone, and it's just deafening. Like you got tunnel vision, you kind of black out, but it is deafening. I have my teammates in my ear screaming so, and you just can't hear anything. You can't. And then let alone the Rose Bowl after that one, 90,000 people, an open stadium. It's I remember coming off the sideline, I was shaking, I had so much adrenaline. It was obviously I hadn't had much up until 4 years, and then finally sort of everything was coming to fruition a bit. It was between that, the crowds, and it was just, it was unreal. Can you talk me through the play and the level of detail and how much it was practiced?
Yeah.
Then we get in a huddle, we hear it. Mm-hmm. Can you talk me through it?
Yeah, so every play, we never have a play that hasn't been practiced, 20, 30 times throughout the week. Every play we got, aside from maybe every team practices a couple of trick plays, but they never really end up pulling them out. But, those plays that 9 times out of 10 we're scoring off, they're practice. They're watching the film at the beginning of the week. Sometimes even the Sunday will come in. Then we'll have a walkthrough that Monday. Then the next day, we've practiced those plays in a bunch of different situations in which we'd run them. And the same thing on Wednesday. Thursday's a run through. And then Friday we'll walk through them. And then by the time you get to Saturday, you know it like the back of your hand.
Yeah.
So it's nothing that's just sort of like, hey, let's just call this. No, everything we've done out there, we've practiced 1,000 times. And most of these plays, we've been, to a large extensive playbook, we've been running the playbook for now with our offensive coordinator for a few years now, so we know these plays like the back of our hands.
So when you went in, before your touchdown, before that play was called, who calls it? Who's running the
so the signal gets called from the sideline, the quarterback gets it, he knows what to call, and then he's got it on his wristband and he's telling us to play. And actually that play was designed more so, I was more meant to be a decoy runner. Dalton Kincaid, who's now at the Buffalo Bills, who was the first tight end taken, was designed from him. But obviously him being the most dominant tight end in college football, they actually ended up sending a double team on him, sort of let me free run and have one-on-one with the corner or the safety. And Cam saw that. In practice, we never actually threw it to me. We'd always just be practicing throwing at Dalton.
You've always got to be ready, huh?
Yeah, and he saw it. It actually kind of took me by surprise. And luckily, I just cradled it in and took it up the sideline 60 yards.
When that ball's coming your way for that huge play, you're not thinking anything. You're just letting it happen, right?
Yeah.
Like can you tell us how that felt when you knew it's coming at you? What is there any self-talk? I've got this, or what?
They're definitely towards the beginning of the season. The first couple of times I'm catching the ball, like you just want it to get there. It feels like the ball's in there forever. Especially that route, I was a 10-yard corner or something, but I was already 20, 25 yards downfield.
Yeah.
That ball feels like it's floating in there forever. You kind of get antsy. And on TV it seems like it's a 1 second thing, but you're just waiting for it to come down. You're like, crap, someone behind me, someone. So as soon as you got to bring it in, because ball security is a big thing in football. And you kind of, you get more comfortable with it later on. But at least for me, on the biggest stage and having that, it kind of took me by surprise a little bit. It was I was just waiting for that ball to come down.
I love it. I love how you said ball security is the biggest thing. So fundamentals, I've noticed in the American football, the college system, fundamentals, everything, huh?
Fundamentals and technique. They say it every single day at practice, in our drills, in our individual and film. Fundamentals and technique is going to beat anything any day, As an athlete, I backed myself as one of the top athletes when I came in, but my fundamentals, my technique they weren't there, simply.
And you put 4 years into it, 5 years into it.
And when you're going up against guys that have these fundamentals and technique put down, it doesn't matter who's the better athlete. If that guy is more fundamentally sound, 9 times out of 10 he's going to come out on top. And that's the biggest difference maker, because you get to Division I level football, everyone's an unbelievable athlete. You're there for a reason, and all these guys are unreal athletes to play against. So you just got to be more technically sound than a lot of these people.
Yeah. Okay. Let's finish with, what can you see happening? What is your vision? Tell me how high you are aiming.
I've always set a high standard for myself, and it's part of the reason why I didn't quit football. If I believe genuinely I can do something, I'm going to stick with it, and I was able to get to that point. But after this year, declaring for the draft, there's still a lot of stuff in between then. I've got to go out there and make plays again and sort of do that for a full season. But I want to be, my goal is to be one of the top tight ends in the country, and that's sort of the standard I'm holding myself to. And for me, at least, anything sort of short of that, obviously I won't be as happy with myself, but that's kind of the bar.
So what could get in your way? Because I've spoke to people. I know what an athlete you are, and I can see where you're going, and from the people I've spoke to, and you're aiming high. You want to be one of the best in the game. You're not aiming like just to make it. You want to be one of the best in the game. What could get in your way?
Firstly, physically, obviously, injuries, you've got to stay healthy and everything. But barring all that, it's mental. I've got to be able to go there, do the preparation, have the discipline to do everything. If I'm not doing the preparation, if I'm just sort of thinking I can kind of go out on a wing, it's not going to happen. So it's definitely a lot of that discipline and sacrificing small things now for just the next 8 months, 9 months, to be able to put myself in a position to get where I need to be.
I love it, brother. Hey, thanks so much, man.
Thank you very much for
having me. Love that chat.
Appreciate
I know
it.
we kind of went pretty powerful. I'd love to chat more, but I'll be following you, and so are all the boys here.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Good on you,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Thanks.
Thanks, mate.